Hello, it's Nancy Jutton. I am the leader of the Raise Your Voice, Make Your Impact Facebook group and the guide that leads action-taking, results-making, get-it-done rock stars to broadcast their brilliance in the boot camp that is gearing up to start this Wednesday, June 9th. I'm super excited to come on live today because I have a very powerful show for you today that will allow those who are new to the group to quickly catch up. It will allow those who have submitted their media one-sheets for feedback to get my eyes on their message. And for those of you who want to go deeper with me in the Broadcast Your Brilliance Bootcamp that starts again on Wednesday, June 9th, I have a new fast action bonus that I'm super excited to tell you about that hopefully will get you off the fence and into my camp so that we can make you that get it done, make it happen rock star that is booking him or herself on 2 podcasts a week consistently, indefinitely for the lifetime of your successful business so that you can accelerate your lead flow, get more calls on the calendar, enroll more perfect clients into your 4 or 5 figure offering, and advance your thought leadership in ways that will astound, delight, and make you very, very happy. So if you're joining me live, go ahead and post a note in the comments and say, hey, it's Nancy, or hey, it's Tara, or here it's Barbara, or tell me who's here. Let me know who's live, and we will get on with the show. Now, you'd have to be living under a rock to know that I've been talking an awful lot about podcast guesting for good and profit over the last couple of weeks. Did you know that there is actually a workbook posted in the guides tab that makes it easy for you to complete your media one sheet? If you didn't know that, I want you to go to the top horizontal navigation of this Facebook group to the guides tab. And what you'll notice is I believe it is the second file posted there, and you can simply click on it, print it out, and you will have everything you need to catch up on what it is I covered during the live masterclass that took place on May 24th. Doesn't it seem like it was eons ago that we were doing that? But if this is new information for you, I also want to point out that all the replays from the masterclass and all the bonus trainings that I did last week, you have access to those replays through this Wednesday when we start the next session, and that's when they come down. So if you're one of those people who are late to the party and you feel like, oh my gosh, I got to catch up. Well, it's Monday. You've got Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday to catch up before all those replays and bonus resources come down, including that guidebook, that workbook to help you navigate through the high points and the resources that I pointed out to you to help advance your path. Hey, Paulette, I'm so glad you're here. So glad you're here. So go to the guides tab. If you're having trouble finding it, like send me a smoke signal or let me know, but I think it's pretty obvious. And so that's that. So I promised you today that I would do media one sheet makeovers because you know what I hear all the time? And listen, I pay attention to my competitors and they send out this thing. Hey, here's what it is you need to include in your media one sheet. And they sort of leave it alone. Or they say, hey, here's what you need to do to create a media one sheet. Go find your own template. Go hire your own designer. Go do your own thing. And you're thinking, well, gee, that was helpful. Or not. Well, I'm actually providing you with a template to actually get this done right away so we can save you time and save you aggravation. But the thing that I do that's different than what a lot of other experts do not do is I actually look at your sloppy first copy and point out things that it might have escaped your notice. I actually pay attention to the quality of your message. Is it media ready? Is it media savvy? Is it on message? Is it memorable? And I need those of you who have asked me to review your media one sheets to put on your straitjacket or give me permission to be straight with you, because a good teacher will say what you're doing well and will also say what you could be doing differently or better to stand out from the crowd. And I just want you to set aside any pride of authorship and just be open to the feedback that I'm here to provide so that you can get a win, whether you decide to join me in the Broadcast Your Brilliance Bootcamp or not. So there you have it. If you've been hungry for expert eyes on your message, I have been looking at speaker sheets and media one sheets for the better part of 2 decades. I come to this work having been a publicist who owned her own publicity agency representing clients such as Roger Staubach, the football great, Fran Bigelow, America's finest chocolatier, Gene Thompson, the CEO and founder of Seattle Chocolate Company, Alice Cunningham, the founder of the Olympic Hot Tub Company. I have worked with CEOs with very big names. I've also worked with really cool celebrity people like Vern Yip and David Bromstad of HGTV. I've worked with big name people who stand out and look cool at hello and have the courage to truly show up. These are not people that go generic and sound like everyone else who's out there. These are people that have a unique, distinct point of view that creates a head whip reaction. And if your media topics are lackluster and not blockbuster, that's not doing you any favors. So, okay, Paulette's saying permission to be straight. Love to hear that. So just for brief review, what is a media one sheet anyway? A media one sheet is typically a one sheet of paper or a PDF file that showcases who you are, what media topics you want to speak about, some praise from people who have heard you deliver your message and they're saying compelling things that strengthen your candidacy. A media one sheet can also include visual icons like media logos or recognition that you've earned. A media one sheet also will include icons to your most used social media channels. And why is that? Because podcast hosts want to know whether or not you have a following. If people are paying attention to you, they may want to check you out online to see if you've got the goods to add value to their program, and you need to make it easy for them. One of the other things that's especially important about a media one sheet is to remember your objective, which is to get booked. So you want to make it easy for people to send you an email, make a telephone call, or reach out to you in any other way so that you don't have an impediment to making that connection. So that is the purpose of a media one sheet. And you can typically use the front side of an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper, or if you've been at the media game for a while, you can go to 2 pages if you've got enough content to justify it. Same thing like with the resume. If you can get it all done in 1 page, go ahead. If you've got enough juice to add value that's relevant and congruent to the role you're playing right now, go ahead and spill over to the 2nd page, only if it adds value and makes you even more compelling and meaningful. Remember that hosts get inundated sometimes with people that want to be on their programs. So your talent and skill in bottom lining what value you have to bring to the podcast host and their audience is going to serve you very, very well. So that is what a media one sheet is. And if you have any questions about that, please post them in the chat and let me know, and I'll do everything I can to respond while we're live on this broadcast. How is it used? I read from some other purported expert today that you should attach your media one sheet to an email when you send it out to hosts. I could not disagree more. I could not disagree more. Do you like to open attachments from people that you don't know? I would venture to say the answer is no, you do not. A media one sheet you can take a screenshot of your media one sheet and create a visual image of it that you can embed within the body of an email. That would be far preferred than including an attachment, because then they'll be able to see it front and center. You're making it easy for them to check you out, see the value, and know that you've got your act together. Don't send an attachment. I am not a fan of sending media one sheets out like Christmas candy. I want to start a conversation with the host and let them know that I'm happy to share that if we're ready to go the next step. Because I want to have a dialogue and conversation with the host from the moment I make contact with them, and overwhelming them with everything I've ever created in my life to show them that may be a little bit premature. Let's make sure we have a match before we go pushing our media one sheet down the throats of people who are or perhaps not interested in seeing them. A media one sheet is part, perhaps, of a bigger media kit you might create. During the masterclass, I talked about a page that I created on my website called getknowngetpaid.com/interview Nancy. And if I am on a lounge chair or at an airport or somewhere away from my desk and I get invited to be on a podcast, I'm able to cut, paste, and share the getknowngetpaid.com/interview Nancy page with any podcast, broadcast, or meeting planner at the moment's notice, and they will have everything they need. They will have the backstory on my business, a 50-word bio, 100-word bio, written in the third person, so it's easy to introduce me without having to transpose the content. They will also have my headshot. They will have images of my books, and they will also have suggested interview questions that make their job of preparing for the show even easier. I implore you, as a serious potential podcast guest, to use your media one sheet as a segment of your bigger media kit. If you go to getknowngetpaid.com/interview Nancy, you'll see that there's a hyperlink that gives people access to my media one sheet. It's there. I've provided a complete and total service to any host that would want to have me as their guest. And what do you know? They call me and say, wow, you were so ready to go. I don't even need to do the pre-interview. I have everything I need. Thanks for being such a great guest, even before we've even had a conversation. That's the kind of impact I want you to make when you have your media one sheet and your larger media kit ready to go. That is the way to be a rock star at hello. That is a way to leapfrog over other people less prepared because you want it more than other people and you're willing to demonstrate that. So who else is joining me? I see we have a number of people live. I see we have Tara, we have Paulette. Go ahead and type a note and let me know you're there. And because I also want to pay attention to the people who are here, especially if I have their media one sheets ready to review. I want to be able to know that they're there. Okay. Now, there's one important distinction I wanted to make because a couple of the media one sheets or one sheets that came my way weren't really media one sheets. There is a difference between a media one sheet and a speaker one sheet. Is that new information? If it is, let me draw for you the distinction. If you are a keynote speaker, a breakout session leader, a trainer of some type, you are very well served to have a speaker one sheet that positions you as the expert talent that a meeting planner would wisely invest keynote fees to have the privilege of you delivering your brilliance to their important audience. It is to position you as a paid keynote speaker, breakout session leader, and otherwise. It is different than a media one sheet because you're going to be able to go in greater detail about your signature talk, the 3 audience takeaway lessons that the audience will learn as a result of you taking the stage. It's an opportunity for you to schedule a consultation about whatever it is that you want to dial in the details so that you can be booked. A media one sheet is not an invitation to get paid as a speaker. It's an invitation to host or be part of a conversation between a host and the audience that will add value. So there's typically no money exchanged. And so you really need to have both, especially if you are someone who makes their living sharing a message that other people want to hear. For the purposes of today's call, I'm just going to focus on media one sheets. And if I've been in receipt of a speaker one sheet, I'm going to give you some suggestions about how you could turn yours around quickly to make it work for you. So I think I've kind of covered some of the basics there. I see someone else has joined. I'm guessing it might be Rita because she's always very, very regular in her attendance here. Oh, let's see. We've got a message from, let me see. I have not figured out how to put a PDF in the thread, but here's a screenshot. Okay, I see it, Kate. Kate, I'm so glad you're here. Okay, so let's start with the people that sent me goodies ahead of time because, hey, what the heck? There should be some advantage to being first. Okay. Paperwork. Now, Theresa Ashby, PhD, MBA, and also someone who has wisely said yes to being part of the Broadcast Your Brilliance Bootcamp. I'm really happy to see the transformation of your Media One sheet, and it was actually posted in the thread where Kate's Media One sheet shows up, and so you should be able to follow along. But I'm going to make a couple of comments here. When we're talking about ourselves, our bio, what makes us special, different, and preferred, one of the most important things that all of us can do is to put in a stunning result that would be meaningful for our ideal client to know about you. And as I read your bio, Dr. T, the one stunning result that is missing is the degree to which your business has helped your clients create the results that they desire. It says here, you are the COO of Kaleidoscope Media Services and consults with companies and individuals on building e-learning courses, digital academies, membership sites, and online communities for business sustainability, scalability, and successability. What I'm hungry for is, as a direct result of clients taking these courses or creating these assets, they have been able to generate money, recurring revenue. Like, as a result of this, what then? That's the part that's missing. Creating a lot of content and helping people create content is one thing, but we're missing the boat in terms of what big win that is going unspoken. And so I'd like to know to what extent clients who have worked with you to create these assets have actually turned it into the scalable, sustainable, and measurable at the bottom line results that people are hungry for. I think this is important because there are many people that teach people how to create membership sites and other online courses. But when you have people that say, wow, as a direct result of this, I now have passive income on demand, or I now have welcomed an entirely new and meaningful six-figure revenue stream that flows my way. I just wonder if you could get a little bit more specific. I think you might be also a little bit understated in claiming the successes that you've had, because you're saying you consult with companies and individuals. And I would love to know if you could drop some names, if you're allowed to say, dropping names such as Microsoft, Amazon, even if it's a name that we would know or a brand that we would know, that helps enhance your positioning so that people want to pay even closer attention to you. Let's see. You're clearly an MBA and a PhD and super smart, so that's fantastic. I think that what I'm kind of hungry for, and again, I asked permission to be direct, so I'm being direct. You've been featured on Forbes, Fox News, CBS, ABC, and other major media. And I'm kind of curious what you talked about when you were on those shows, and if there's something that we could pull out that would be specific and terrific, that would be something that would be head turning. It says, Dr. Theresa's most popular media topics: the scalability imperative, technology and transformation, Strategic rules have changed and what to do about it. Leveraging new business environment by building online communities. Scaling a business through the building of e-learning courses. These feel very credible, but there's a missing piece of curiosity and intrigue. And that's, I think, what I was hoping to get at from learning about where you had shown up on these media outlets. Like, did you have some kind of provocative or disruptive point of view that made you the guest that these top media outlets wanted to talk about? And could that traction or the juice of that be put into these bullet points? So when we work together in the Broadcast Your Brilliance Bootcamp that starts on Wednesday, that's one of the things I want to work on with you, is making these media topics a little bit more timely, curious, provocative. You know, the strategic rules, 3 strategic rules have changed and what to do about it. What if that was 3 strategic rules that have changed forever and what that means for entrepreneurs with online courses today? That's interesting. I want to learn more. I might even make an appointment for myself to hear that podcast, because that's interesting. It's a little bit juicier than what you have on the page. When you say kind words, I think you're being very humble. She takes her work very seriously and always has the best interest in the client's success, as serious as she is. She's also the most inspirational, passionate, and fun person to work with in all settings. What I noticed about your testimonials is that they are attributed to job titles, but not to persons with names. And in a general sense, testimonials are even more valuable when you get the first, the last name, and the title. So if in your business you are allowed to offer their name in its entirety and their title and their company name, that screams credibility a little bit more boldly than what we have right here. And those are just a few thoughts I have. I'm going to make another one that's kind of practical. If you have an ideal audience that is over 40 years of age, recognize that people over 40 years of age may need reading glasses. And as I look at this, I actually have to reach for my reading glasses because I can't see the small print at the bottom. And so know your audience. And, you know, sometimes we hire graphic designers who are 22 or 23 years old that have a real cool sense of graphic design, but they forget that we're talking to people typically that are maybe a decade or 2 older. So don't make the type too small. Okay. I hope that's helpful for Dr. T. And that was one other thing. You call yourself Dr. T, but it's not well understood right away that this is you. Theresa M. Ashby, PhD, MBA, and you've got a sassy quote at the top. With the right strategy, a sustainable and scalable business model, and the right digital products, the sky, or rather the world, is the limit. And you attribute it to Dr. T. So this is very nitty gritty and basic, but in the bio, it should say, Dr. Theresa M. Ashby, affectionately known as Dr. T, is a strategist, savvy, provocative, and genuine individual, and widely respected for her business acumen. But I want you to make clear that that's you, because someone who's casual, you know, there's someone else called Mr. T, an African-American guy that's got big arms and looks tough on TV. Like, it was just a little bit of a miss for me. So let's make sure we tie it all together. So Theresa, if you're joining, I hope this is helpful. And thank you for letting me take a look at it. And I'm looking forward to our work together in the boot camp. Someone says, what happens when you work in a field and you can't mention your clients? My life has been non-disclosure agreements. You have to do the best you can with what you're allowed to do. And that's just what you have to do in that case. And that's what you have to do. Okay. Now I want to turn my attention to Paulette, who's live here on the call, which I love. Paulette, I'm just turning the page to find, it's right here. Don't go away. Here you are. Paulette and I actually had a VIP chat the other day. because she was getting a lot of value from the masterclass and just thought, well, maybe if she got on the phone, we could have a chat. She wasn't expecting, I think she was, I don't know what she was expecting, but I kind of threw the whole consultation, what you're supposed to do, out the window, and just said, hey, let's talk about what you're really about and what you're here to do. Let's deliver some value for you, and let's see if we can make you better off for having invested this time. And it turned out to be a really juicy conversation, because I was able to deliver some straight talk about a different way she might be positioning her offers that would be more welcome and appreciative than the one she was leading with before. And it was really a pleasure and an honor to be able to deliver that straight talk, because I think I just saved her like months and months, or perhaps years, of toil and trouble. And she's writing in and says, that's an amazing, yes, it was an amazing call. So Paulette, she used a different template, and it's very similar to one that I've used in my business. And I think it looks great. The color palette's nice, and the message is pretty good. And as I thought about it, I actually wrote some new words for you this morning that I think might even be better for what it is that you do. And so I wanted to sort of test this out and see what you think. But what it says now is, I'm going to put my glasses on because that would be a comment I have, is the type is small. Legacy life mentor and love from above founder Paulette Hamil has guided high-achieving women entrepreneurs who once struggled to scale their life or feed their souls to find out that some days are not on the calendar. With her uncanny ability to see and reflect the brilliance of legacy in others, Paula has helped open the door for big names and businesses on the rise to realize true success. And it doesn't feel like what's in your bank account, but how you have elevated and supported others, paid it forward, and left a meaningful legacy. These are very, very impassioned words, but there's one thing that's missing that's really important to call out. Life legacy mentor Paula Hamil has guided high-achieving women and entrepreneurs who once struggled to scale their lives or feed their souls to find out that some days are not a day on the calendar. What's missing is what then happens for these people as a direct result of belling up to the bar to work with you. That piece is missing. It's sort of like, yeah, some day's not a day on the calendar, but what then did I get to be, have, or do because I got the message and got the wow that I needed working under the feet of your wisdom? So as I was thinking about it, Paulette, I wrote something new, and I'll be curious to see what you think about it. Paulette Hamil is a legacy life mentor who guides high-achieving women entrepreneurs to put adventure, discovery, and soul nurturing on equal footing with their money-making efforts. By doing so, they don't wake up one day with buckets of money without the memories and moments that matter most of all. I'm curious what you think about that, if you have a reaction. Because if this is the transformation that you bring about for your ideal clients, that not only do they realize that someday is not on the calendar, but that they actually take dramatic steps to put adventure, discovery, and soul nurturing on equal footing with their money-making efforts, so they never live a moment of regret for as long as they are here on this planet, and their legacy can be alive today. I believe that if you could guide women to that outcome, they would beat a path to your door and be happy to invest meaningfully in your efforts. Can you hear me now? Let me hear from you. The rain in Spain stays mainly in the plain. Let's try again. What's going on? Hello, hello, hello. Hello, hello, hello. I'm going to pop out and come right back in. I'm going to pop right back in. I'm going to come right back, so don't go away. Okay. All right. I'm going to stop and I'm going to come back.